Hi everyone, this is Rihanna from A Frugal Life, and today we're going to be talking about how you can save money on your electric bill. So the first one is to turn off your lights. Don't turn off your video yet. I'm going to tell you some unique ways and some ways I'm going to talk about turning off your lights. So it's not just flipping your switch and it's not just the same old blog article. So I'm talking about turning off your lights even in rooms that you're in. So don't just walk through the house and turn off the lights when the kids leave a room. I'm talking about finding your way to a room that has the best natural light in the house and using that light during the day. So maybe stay out of the dark den during the daylight and hang out in the kitchen where there's natural light. You can turn off all the lights in the house and just leave the big bright windows open. If you don't have great light in your kitchen, but you have great light in your living room, maybe you want to hang out in your living room instead. So we have huge bay windows in one room where we could hang out all day long and never flip on a light until it got dark at night. So using natural light during the day can make you save a ton of electricity because you don't have to turn on any lights at all during the day. The next is laundry, and I'm not just talking about hanging your clothes out to dry, which you can do if you live in a location which allows you to do that. Some HOAs or apartment buildings don't even let you hang out clothes to dry. So if you have the privilege of having a washer and dryer at home, there are a few things you can do to save money. First of all, make sure you have an energy efficient washer and dryer. If you don't, of course, don't go buy a new one, but as soon as that one goes out, make sure your new one is an energy efficient washer and dryer. Most of them are these days, even if you buy a used one, but look for that Energy Star on the label. Next, if your washer and dryer doesn't measure the amount of water and heat it uses by the size of your load, which some new washer and dryers do, make sure you're using full loads only. So if you have an older washer and dryer that uses the same amount of water no matter what you put in there, make sure you always do a full load in both the washer and the dryer. The next thing you can do is at least take towels out of the dryer and hang them on a line in your kitchen or in your bathroom or over your bathroom curtain rod to dry, because towels will make your regular clothes take longer to dry. So I usually pull out towels and fluffy robes and big blankets before I use the dryer to make sure that other clothes dry in a timely manner. And of course, you definitely want to check the dryer lint every single time you use the dryer. So I am guilty of it. My husband's yelling at me all the time to make sure that I'm taking that out, but your clothes will not dry in a timely manner if you don't clean that out every single time. Make sure you throw it away properly so that it's not a fire hazard. Don't just leave it in the laundry room, and then don't leave it in the laundry vent at all, because that is a fire hazard as well. So clean out that laundry vent every single time you use the dryer. Next is to unplug appliances. And I'm talking big appliances and little appliances. You can't unplug your freezer and your fridge, of course, when you're still using them, but you can unplug things like toasters and microwaves. You don't need alarm clocks anymore because everybody uses their phone. If you have plugs on different things, like I have my ring light here, I always unplug it when I'm done. The other thing you can do if you don't want to walk around the house unplugging everything all the time is to put things on power strips. So you can have one power strip per room. As you leave the room, flip off the power strip altogether so you're not sucking any life into those appliances while you are still not using them. Going back to the washer and dryer, make sure that you run big appliances like that off peak. I'm talking even the vacuum cleaner. Anything that you're going to run that you don't have to do at a very specific time, run it off peak hours. And you can tell your off peak hours by calling your local utility company. So where I live, that's PG&E. Where you live, it might be something different. Call them or go online to their website and just ask what their off peak hours are. So peak hours, the electricity costs more. Off peak hours, the electricity cost less. So always do your close at night. That's usually off peak, but just to double check, call your local energy provider and ask them when off peak is. The other thing you can do is ask them if they have special discounts for age or other things. PG&E offers discounts for disabilities and for seniors. So if you have a senior in your household, even if they're not the main payer of the electricity, you can get up to a 20% discount with PG&E and more for other utility providers. So there's many things you can ask them. Ask them for off-peak, ask them for discounts, and also ask them if they do free energy audits. Some of them will come out for free. Check all of your appliances and the draws on all of your plugs to make sure that you're not having a leak somewhere in electricity that's costing you extra money. Next, we're going to talk about the water heater. Most water heaters are set at 140 degrees or more Fahrenheit. Maybe different on your particular one, whatever they set it for for you if you're in an apartment or something like that. If you do live in a house that you own and you're able to change the temperature on the water heater, change it down to at least 120 degrees or lower. So see what you can set it at and be comfortable still in the shower. I would recommend at least 120 if you're using it for the washer, dryer, or the dishwasher for sanitizing purposes, but you definitely don't need it at 140. So putting it down, especially at times that you don't need it, like maybe during the summer for super hot showers, is going to save you a ton of money. Even a few degrees will save you money on your electricity, especially if you have a water heater that keeps the water heated all the time. The next is if you have central heating or central air. I have an extreme way of doing this is that we don't use our central heating at all. That is not for electricity for us, that is for propane, so I won't include that in this. But if you have central air and it runs on electricity, make sure that you clean the air filters in every room that has them as often as needed. So even though it may suggest only every 3 months or every 6 months, if you have a particularly dusty house like we do because of animals, then we have to change our air filter every month. And we purchase them in big bulk lots, so they're only a couple dollars each, and we change them once a month when we're using the air conditioner because it does get filled with dust and debris and allergens. If you change them, then you will not only have less allergies, but you will save a ton of money on your electricity. The next thing you can do, and I will put some links down below of some of my favorites, is to use a programmable thermostat and Wi-Fi plugs in your house, and that allows you to turn things off when you're not there. So I have some that I got through Ohmconnect, and I will put the links down there below to Ohmconnect as well. If you're in California, that's a great way to save money on your energy bill. If you're not in California, it doesn't work. So California's secret link down below to Ohmconnect. But even if you're not in California, you can use a programmable thermostat. So that means if you leave the house and you forget to turn off your heating or your air conditioning or your plugs to specific things like your TVs, you can turn them off via your phone. You can also set them to turn on or off at certain times, so they can if you don't have animals or elderly people in the house, you can leave the air and the heat and everything off all day long and just have it turned on an hour before you come home from work. So these things cost a little bit upfront, but they save you a lot of money in the long run. I have noticed a huge difference in my energy bill since I started using both of those things in my house. So the next is going to be one of those extreme things, and that is to close off entire rooms of your house. So way back in the day when people had big mansions that they didn't have central heating for, they would close off entire wings of their house that they didn't need to use when they had these great big houses, so they didn't have to heat them with the fireplaces. So you can do the same thing if you have a smaller home, let's say like we do, that's 2,100 square feet, or even if you have a 1,200 square foot home or less. If you have a particular room that you don't use all the time, completely close it off, close the windows, close the doors, put draft protectors in, close the vents, and you don't have to heat it or cool it or light it. So that saves you a ton of money. If you can, during summer months in particular, this is kind of extreme, but make kids share a room. So if you have some littler kids and you can put 1 or 2 or 3 in one room and close off 2 rooms, then you only have to air condition 1 room, you only have to clean 1 room, you only have to light 1 room. So close off as many rooms, closets, and things that you can when you're trying to heat and cool the house, and you will save a ton of money on your energy bill. So just a couple more here, and one is to weatherproof your house. Older houses especially are not completely weatherproofed. Double pane windows is a great investment. Weather stripping on all of the windows can be done whether or not you have double pane or not, and you can purchase the supplies at someplace like Home Depot very easily to weather strip your windows. Getting small or making small draft strips to poke under the doors, especially if you have drafty doors, will keep in the cold or the hot, whatever you need to keep in. I particularly have a dog door that lets in a lot of cold air. We have to block the strips both in between where the door is and on the bottom. So you have to make sure you close these things off when you're trying to heat and cool your house. There could be seeping in the wrong type of weather in multiple different places in your house. So do an audit of your house. If you don't have PG&E, do it, and find some places that you can insulate or weather strip to make the heating and cooling more efficient. So next, and this is something we took advantage of when we moved into a new home, was changing the light bulbs out. So of course, don't just toss light bulbs that still have light in them, but as they burn out, if you don't already have them, you want to change regular wattage lights to either CFL or LED. So CFL, compact fluorescent lights, is what people used to change everything to in order to save on energy. If you can switch your lights, if you have the right type of lights that you can switch to LED lights, They are really bright. They let out just as much light as anything else, and they practically non-existent in energy use. My ring light uses LED. My husband switched a ton of our lights out in our house to LED, and it makes a huge difference. So look up LED options for your lamps and lights in your home and see which ones you can switch out when your lights burn out. So that is it. Thank you for bearing with me on another video I'm making with a huge headache. So it is hard. I am trying to maintain focus. Please like down below to show me that you think it is worth it. And please subscribe and click the notification bell, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.